Let's try a volume question here, and this one is a little bit tricky. The idea here is for this question, solving x, where we have this very strange shape, is that we're going to find the volume of the entire object, subtract the volume of the missing parts, and by setting that equation, we can actually solve x. So this is the pattern. So the key here is that this volume of this letter E is 330 centimeters cubed. So the volume of this funny shape is 330. So 330 is equals to the volume of the entire box minus the volume of the hollow parts. Hollow parts. Following this pattern, we can solve many problems similar to this. So let's continue working here. We have 330 is equals to the volume of the box, which is length times width times height. And I see the numbers 8, 11, and the depth here is 4. So I'm just going to write those down. It doesn't really matter what order we write them in. 8, 11, and 4. Minus the hollow parts, plural. There are 2 parts here. So it's going to be 2 times the length, width, height of one of these, since these are the same. So what are the dimensions of one of these invisible blocks? Invisible box. Well, I see an x here. There's definitely an x. Is there anything else? We know the depth. The depth happens to be 4 centimeters. 4. Now what about this unknown height here, going up and down? I may jump to conclusions and say, oh yeah, that happens to be 2 centimeters, but we have to be careful because this is 2 centimeters here. These 3 are the same. So this here is 2. Let me just change the color here. This here is 2, this here is 2, and this here is 2. But we know the entire height here is 11. So if this is 2, 2, 2, these add up to be 6. The leftover here would be 11 minus 6 divided by 2. 11 minus 6 is 5. So this would be half of 5 since these two are the same. So this would be 2.5 and this here would be 2.5. If you add up all these numbers, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5, we actually get 11. So we determine that this unknown height here happens to be 2.5. Now using our calculator, we have 330 is equals to 352 minus 20x. And if you just work carefully, x is equals to 1.1. So 1.1 centimeters is the final answer. So the key for these unusual questions is, remember, volume of this strange shape is going to be the volume of the entire object, subtract the empty holes. And as long as you set up that equation, you're going to end up solving for that unknown variable. There's only one unknown variable and a bunch of numbers. It's definitely possible to solve x. And another common error would be to jump to conclusions. Don't assume that this height is 2. You actually have the entire height versus subtract away these 3 smaller pieces is the leftovers. And this leftover has to be such that all these little tiny pieces add up to be this longer piece.